And if we want to be able to afford to live again, well, we have to shut down the border, stop funding the illegal aliens who are here, and have Congress actually get in control of the purse strings once again. We are the most powerful branch of government. And, I've heard it said that someone went to one of our Supreme Court justices and said, I'm thinking about bringing you a lawsuit about this agency because, they're really abusing their powers and this and that. The bureaucrats are trying to make laws and all this, and wanted to bring a case before the Supreme Court. And the justice responded to the senator who was saying this to him and said, I'm so tired of you guys bringing me cases. If you don't like what these agencies are doing, don't fund them. So that's where we are right now. We have the power of the purse. We hold those purse strings. And if we don't like what these agencies are doing, whether it's the Department of Injustice and going after their political opponents and persecuting them like they have President Trump, like they have Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro and our January 6th protesters and all this, well, don't fund them. If we don't like what the Department of Homeland Security is doing and Secretary Mayorkas and abusing their powers and not keeping our country safe, well, don't fund them. If we don't like what the Department of Education is doing in promoting transgenderism to our children and causing this confusion and sexualizing them, don't fund them. So that's where I am right now with all of this spending that's going underway here in D.C. Stop funding the chaos and the madness.
How do they keep getting funded?
Well, that would be right now it's a divided government, right? Where the Senate has seemingly more power because we haven't taken a stand. And so the Senate sends us a crap bill, and it ends up getting voted on by the Democrats and a few Republicans who are afraid. And then it gets signed into law by Joe Biden. But we need to take a stand to the point of shutdown. And honestly, if the CR with the SAVE Act was actually going to be something that we fought for to the bitter end, then I would be more for it. But right now I'm still deciding that because I've seen so many white surrender flags saying, oh, well, we'll pass it, but we know we're going to get something else. So, I don't know if we're really going to fight all the way to a shutdown. So I'm having a little bit of struggles with that, and we'll see what goes
You're making
down
me nervous. United Front.
We'll see what goes down on the floor tomorrow. But I'll see y'all later. We got Andrew Clyde from Georgia coming up, taking my place. So God bless y'all.
While he's jumping in, Rep. Burchett, what do you think?
I think it's a bad idea. We've already passed the SAVE Act. We know it's going to happen. Biden, Schumer's not going to touch it. All this is going to do, everything we're trying to force them to do to make a decision, they've already done it. The legacy media is not going to beat up on them. We're not going to do anything with it. They'll send it back a clean bill, and then we'll end up passing another CR, which is a CR by definition, continued resolution, just continuing the bad spending policies that we've had in the past. All the woke stuff that we hate, they're forcing all of us conservatives to vote for. And yet they've already voted against the SAVE Act. They'll vote against it again, and nothing will happen. But we will be on record, and I'll guarantee you'll see that in elections.
And I think that's important that you go back to your district saying, this is what I did. It looks like you wanted to say something, and then maybe we can have our newcomers introduce themselves.
Look, Lauren's not wrong. My good friend from Tennessee, Tim, is not wrong. We have a crisis of confidence here. Because our leadership has left us hanging so many times. But as another friend of mine who's sitting out in front of me said one time, courage is contagious. And I will just tell you this is why I didn't say just vote for the CR with the SAVE Act attached to it and stand there. Vote for the CR with the SAVE Act attached to it, and then leave, denying the Senate the battlefield. You must deny them the battlefield so they can send over anything they want to.
What a great slogan.
We won't be present. We won't be present to vote on their piece of trash. Yeah. And they can just suck it down like they always force us to do because we have people that are weak and feckless. Yeah. That's what has to happen.
It's a fascinating plan. Do we want our two congressmen who've joined us to introduce themselves?
Sure. I'm Andrew Clyde, Georgia's 9th District. I've been in Congress since 2021. And
I'm glad you could join us.
Well, thank you.
And this is a familiar face.
Yeah, Troy Neal's great state of Texas, the envy of the world. Texas 22nd Congressional District, Southwest Houston.
Do you guys have any predictions for the debate tonight? What are you expecting from Kamala Harris? What are you expecting from Trump?
Well, I think word salads are probably on the menu tonight. And the only question is going to be, is it a house salad or a Caesar salad? So I think that's definitely what we're going to. This is going to be Kamala Harris's very first press conference, and it's going to be unscripted. The country's going to see what she really is like, and they've been trying to hide her now for 2 months, and I think the country's going to have a epiphany, kind of like they did during the Biden-Trump debate of a few months earlier.
It is amazing, 52 days without any kind of direct media contact other than when she's chaperoned by good old Timmy. No offense to the other Tims in the room.
A couple of them.
Congressman Nelson, you have any predictions?
Yeah, I think she's going to talk, but she's not going to say a whole lot.
Right.
I think she's not going to talk much about any policy. She's going to let the American people know how great she was as the Attorney General and how she saved San Francisco and the great state of California. She's going to talk about how great of an Attorney General, law and order, going to lock up the criminals. So she's not going to talk a whole lot about any real true substance because there's really nothing for her to talk about. She could talk about her family. She could talk about growing up and pursuing the American dream and all the odds she was up against. She can mention Willie Brown, but she's going to talk about those things and not a whole lot of real important policy.
I think it's going to be interesting. This will be the first time she'll be confronted on Trump's Project 2025 with Trump himself, who's easily going to say, that's not my plan. I have nothing to do with it. She keeps saying that. That's not correct.
Yeah, it's amazing how much that is a part of her policy platform. I mean, every single tab has some kind of connection to 2025, which Trump has, distanced himself from and confronted it many times. I have to say, you have Donald Trump hugging the flag on your tie right now. So I think we know.
Oh, I got something.
There are accessories that go with this. Oh my gosh, you have the Trump gold shoes.
Whoa, you got some of those?
Tim, you don't have a pair of those, do you?
No, I don't. I'd like a
didn't
pair of
think
those.
so, huh?
I want to skate in
Let
them.
me tell you, they're tough to get.
I believe you.
Tough to get.
Did you win a poker game or something?
I could tell you all that.
So you guys have how many days left? There's only like 18 voting days in September, right, for Congress?
Something like that, yeah. Is it 18? I thought it was,
18.
I thought it was
3
less than
weeks
that.
at 4 days. I don't know about 18.
I think it's less than
Less
that.
than that?
Less
About
than that.
12.
And so
11 days. That's it. No, 10. You're at 10.
10?
10 days.
Okay, bye. I guess we'll see you never. So in addition to the CR with the SAVE Act, are there any big objectives that you have? The general's already ready.
Well, no, I was just, since you counted the days, ergo, my plan of voting for the CR with the SAVE Act and leave town and deny the battlefield.
Right.
Congress doesn't do a lot of huge things right before a general election. They don't want to rock the boat, never do. So I don't think you're going to see anything earth-shattering, certainly not anything that's going to set up a fight with the Senate, run by Chuck Schumer, which everything we do should be a fight, set up as a fight with the Senate.
Right.
So, no, I don't expect any. Look, this debate is going to set the stage. I think you're going to see the living version of virtual reality in Kamala Harris. I think that she is going to be highly scripted. She's going to say, I'm speaking. She's going to have a couple one-liners, and they're going to try and soundbite through this thing. I don't think they're going to let her do word salad. I think she's going to be highly scripted. You're going to believe that she has a teleprompter in front of her and she's not real, because she's not real. I mean, Bernie Sanders said the quiet part out loud, right? That she's just saying whatever she has to say to get elected. She is true to her values, but all leftists and socialists can't tell the American people that because the people don't like that. So she's going to stand up there, say what she's got to say, try and be sincere about it, and it's going to be like a award-winning act.
I just love how desperate the Kamala camp was to have the microphones turned on so she could do the I'm speaking thing.
Right. That's
Right.
that's her thing, right? Yeah.
That's all they have.
And now what they're doing is, apparently I've heard they're going to put journalists as close to the stage as possible so that if Trump does say something while she's speaking, they can still try and get the I'm speaking narrative going.
Right. That's her thing. Yeah.
That's
So
her
you're
thing.
going to see that.
I was listening to this analysis of her past debate performances, and they said during 2020 there was one primary debate where she did particularly well. And remember, it's primary. There were a ton of Democrats at the time, but she was pushing back on Joe Biden's stance from the 1970s on segregated busing.
Right.
And she said
called
this
him a
story.
racist.
Right. She called him a racist, and she surged in the polls. But she has now aligned herself with this person she called a racist. So what emotional tactic does she have left? I mean,
No,
she's
the
really
chain-
run out of stuff from her bag of tricks.
You're a linear thinker. You're thinking if I said this today, then I can't unsay it tomorrow. Democrats and the left don't ever think that way. They say whatever is expedient at this moment, and if something contradicts it completely the next moment, that's fine with them personally, and it's fine with their party and their voters. That's the unfortunate thing for conservatives and people that actually think logically. That blows our mind. But they have no compunction about lying straight-faced to the American people and acting like it's the truth.
So are you expecting her to just distance herself as much as possible from the Biden-Harris administration?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do expect her to just act like she had nothing to do with it. She wasn't the last person in the room for Afghanistan, had nothing to do with any of these decisions. I'm just the vice president.
Mm-hmm. I don't even know that guy.
How does she answer these questions when Trump says, do it now? She says, oh, we want to fix the economy. We're going to cut taxes for the middle class. We're going to X, Y, and Z. And Trump says, okay, do it now. Well, how does she respond to that?
I'll tell you that they're trying to craft the narrative that she is somehow this new individual just showing up on the scene. She's the incumbent. I mean, this is the vice president of the United States. She was the last person in the room when Joe Biden made all those terrible decisions. She owns those decisions, no different than Joe Biden owns those decisions. So, to say that anything different, I think, is just completely false. And, the general's right when you say that they'll say anything, they'll change their narrative, whatever fits the moment. It's the ends justify the means for the Democrats. And the mainstream media simply will not hold them accountable for that. If right for that moment, and they think that they can, snow some voter, they'll say whatever they want to say.
They're in on it.
And they won't be held accountable for it. And that's a massive problem. The voter needs to be educated, and I think tonight's going to be a great education for the voter. I hope everybody tunes in to listen to it, because you're going to see Kamala Harris with no real policy positions that she can defend.
Yeah, I think she won't be able to.
She hasn't been able to defend anything right now.
Right.
She's, well, it depends what poll you listen to. I mean, she's within the margin of error in a lot of these. I don't know. There's going to have to be a breakout moment in this debate, I think, for people to really pay attention. I don't know. But what we do know is I don't think the American people really know who she is, because she's just really done nothing in 3.5 years but continue to destroy this country under Joe Biden. But we have 60 days to define her. We've got several $100 million in the bank. And over the airwaves over the next 60 days, we will define her. If you look at that ACLU, that little survey she took back in 2019, and I've got it on my phone, she says, I make a pledge. I'm going to end immigrant detention. That means we're not locking up anybody. How do you think the American people feel about that? I'm going to fund taxpayer-funded gender care and transition surgeries for detained immigrants. You just put those things out there. This was her survey back in the ACLU. So I think once we get that out on the airwaves, the broadcast, and we hammer her, I mean, she's not too bright. She isn't. She's not too bright. She's very, I think she has a very limited bandwidth. I think Trump wins the debate, but there's going to have to be some type of a blockbuster moment because the media will capture 30 seconds of her doing something well during debate, and that's all they'll play.
I think we need to make sure that I understand the talking point of she hasn't done anything because the country has not improved. The economy is not doing well. But I prefer to say she's done a lot. Kamala Harris has done a tremendous amount of things to this country. She cast the tie-breaking votes in the Senate, which means all of the policies that have backfired or failed are her personal accomplishments. If not for her, I mean, she could have shut these things down. It came down to her as a tie-breaking vote in the Senate. She decided we will roll with these things, and they have failed. So when people are wondering why LL Flooring, Big Lots, other big chain stores are filing for bankruptcy, shutting down, why they can't walk to a Walgreens anymore to get their prescriptions, you can ask Kamala Harris about why she thought the Inflation Reduction Act or any of these policies they pushed forward were effective, and why would we assume she's going to do anything different if she were to win the presidency? Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.